welcome to day 5. So this week it's been sort of my yoga because I was putting on too much weight around the middle. I do feel slightly smaller, can't say that much smaller, so I'll have to work at it again next week. So day 5 is doing poses I want to do to see if it's made any difference and to do, move it up a step. So use your precautions, go to your limits, don't push yourself. I am including a headstand today, but I'll talk you through it. What else? That's about it. Let's get on with it, shall we? Right, so sitting Sukhasana, get the buttock flesh out of the way. Sitting upright, balancing your head over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, and relaxing your hands on your thighs. And then tune into your breathing, so long, slow, deep inhalations and exhalations, or Ujjayi breath. Then you're going to bring your left hand onto your right knee. Take the other hand round behind you, press down with the fingers, lift up and twist on the exhale. So each time you exhale, see if you can turn a little bit more. And on the exhale, release back to the centre. We go around to the other side. Again, fingertips onto the floor, trying to get them in line with your spine. Inhale to lift up, exhale to turn. And release back to the centre, stretching forward, so fingertips to the floor. Inhale, lift up, pull the belly back, the bit that we wanted to get rid of. And then going forward as far as you can, and then relax your head down towards the floor. Inhale, look forward to your hands, then walk the hands back. Changing the cross of your legs. And then coming forward again. So this is a stretch out for those hip joints. Inhale, lift up, pull the belly back as you exhale and go forward. Inhale, lift the head, look forward to your hands, and then exhale, walk the hands back. And then I'll mirror image for you. You're going to take your left hand to the floor, fingertips to the floor, raise your right arm up into the air, and then you're going to bend the elbow back towards you as you stretch over. So really stretch out those ribs and breathe. Don't need to tell you to pull the belly back, do I? Inhale, brings the arm back up and go to the other side. So fingertips to the floor, raising the left arm up into the air. And as you bend that elbow back towards you, stretching over with that top arm. And then you're going to move to cat-cow, so I need to loosen up a bit. So I'm going to swivel around on my mat, holding onto your feet, and then come over your knees if you can, bringing yourself into all fours. Spread your fingers, knees under your hips. You're going to do 5 cat-cow at your pace. So you decide, make sure your arms are straight, and off you go. So finishing on an out breath, then come to neutral, and then you're just going to push your hips back to sit back towards your heels, and then stretch your arms as far forward as you can and rest your head down. So stretch out your arms, stretch out your back. Inhale, look forward, look at your hands. Exhale as you walk your hands back. So now you're going to spin your legs round to stretch yourself out into Dandasana. So get the buttock flesh out the way, hands by the side of your hips. So those of you, we're going to do the one where we're lifting the hips off the floor. So if you need books, pause the video, go and get yourself some books by the side of your hips. Or just have a go, see what happens today. Maybe, just maybe, I'm hoping the bottom is a little bit lighter today as well for me. So press down with your hands, lift your chest, straighten the arms, and then you're going to press into your hands so that the bottom starts to come off the floor, and then you're going to slide your legs back towards you, see how close you can get them towards you. Keep pressing down, keep the arms straight. 5 breaths. Well, that felt a bit easier than it did the other week when I was doing it, so that's a good sign, I hope. Right, Paschimottanasana now. So forward bend, so the compression of the abdomen. So inhale, lift up, exhale, draw the abdomen back as you take your hands down towards your feet or wherever they're going to come to. If you've got them down towards your feet, then I like to do a little bit of a jig, get that belly out of the way. Inhale, exhale, and then you can relax your head down towards your legs. 5 breaths. Inhale, look forward and up towards your feet. Exhale, release the pose. So, I'm going to move here to headstand. So many of you will just do as far as the headstand prep. I'll do it in stages and you can decide where you're at. So what you're looking for obviously is that work of the shoulders in this one. If you have any issues and problems with your eyes, your ears, it's not the pose for you. You can get many benefits from other poses, getting the head lower than the heart. And also when you're there, if you feel any pressure in your head, sometimes it's pressure in your head because you've forgotten to breathe. So just be aware of what can happen. Don't be put off by that. It's a wonderful pose once you have and can master it. The other thing is make use of a wall. If you're trying it for the first time, the corner of a room is very useful. What I'm going to suggest in a minute is I'll show you that you actually use the whole support of the wall by having your hands right up against your skirting boards. But we'll work at it. So the first thing to do is to do the headstand preparation for you. So headstand preparation, you start by kneeling. So sitting nice and upright. So just enjoy the poses as they go along. Don't just go rushing from one to the other. So it is a pose in its own right, Virasana. So be sitting nice and upright. Feel the length of your spine. Take a couple of breaths. So then you're going to lean forward from there and you're going to place your forearms on the mat in front of you. Hold on to the elbows and just place your arms down. So that ensures that those elbows are exactly hip width and shoulder width apart. And then stretch your arms out in front of you and spread your fingers. So the next move is to keep your elbows exactly where they are and interlace your fingers right to the roots. and then place your hand down. Now you'll find there's a little finger, keeps one edge of your hand up in the air. Tuck that inside the palm so that they're absolutely even. The other thing to remember is that you mustn't have the wrists bent in any way or form. They've got to form a nice straight line, straight from the elbow right the way down to those curled fingers. So your thumbs, what are you going to do with those? You can leave them where I've got them now, pointing up in the air. They'll be pressing against the back of your head. Or I quite like to put one thumbnail on top of the other. You're not going to be resting your head right inside the palms of your hands. You're resting, think more of the pads of the thumbs to be where your head is going to be. So the next move is to lift your hips up, and then you just turn your toes under and think dog pose, but you're not going to let those shoulders drop, you're not going to let your head drop. So ready to go? Headstand prep. So lift your hips up into the air and look towards your hands. Now you can feel how much your shoulders have to work in this pose. Take 5 breaths. And come back to kneel again. Right, so for many of you, this is as far as you're going to be going, just to do the headstand preparation, so you can repeat that. For those that you want to go a little bit further or just see what's going to happen, I would suggest you take your mat so that it's right up to a wall. So the other thing, sometimes I forget, people find it's not tough on the top of your head. You shouldn't feel weight on top of your head. You should have enough strength in those arms and shoulders so that you can decide how much weight you take into the top of your head. So for me, it's not painful to be actually doing it on a hard surface. But as beginners, you might like to take a little bit of cushioning there. So entirely up to you. You have to explore your own poses. So to come to do it at the wall, what I would suggest is, if you're trying it for the first time, is to interlace your fingers like we did just now, but make sure that the knuckles are right against the wall when you do it. Okay? So the same things apply. You just go to that point there. Now, how to get yourself onto the top of your head? I always say, or used to say, an Alice band. So if you take your thumbs behind your ears and then bring your index fingers over the top of your head, where they meet in the middle is roughly where it is. I saw an interesting one the other day, and they said the other way to do it was to put your thumb between your eyebrows and then stretch over until that finger touches. It's about the same place. So if you think it's not, you don't want to be very close onto or near to your forehead, because that then jams you in the back of the neck. It has to be right on the top of the head. Okay, so let's move on from there. So, if you're at the wall, you've got to replace. So you've got to replace those hands at the wall. You've got to, if you're away from the wall, make sure you've touched your elbows so the elbows are directly under your shoulders. Interlace your fingers, and then turn your toes under, and then lift your hips. Look towards your hands, and then you're going to relax your head, relax your neck so that it's just dangling, and then keep walking your feet in as much as you can, and then from that point you're going to come up onto your tiptoes, and that then drops you onto that point on your head as well. So that's another good way of doing it. Now my legs are starting to become light already, so hopefully you're on tiptoe. If you're at this point, then keep walking in if you like, and then you see if you can hop up and hold it there and breathe. And this might again be all you want to do. But if you want to go on further, start to take your knees up to the air, and then you can start to straighten out your legs. So I'm not going to hold it, I'm just showing you how to do it. But breathe once you're there. Go on pressing down in your forearms and your wrists. So hopefully you're still breathing and you're taking breaths, then bend your knees, come down the same way as you went. So as you come down, knees to your chest, and then your feet to the floor. Keep your head down, and then move back into child's pose, and relax there. And then inhaling to sit up. And stretch your legs out in front of you. So, headstand. Take it carefully, take it easy, and hopefully one day you'll really enjoy doing a headstand. So, I'm going to move on to shoulder stand. Now, this is quite interesting. Different schools of yoga do the sequence differently. Some, I've always been taught to do it headstand, shoulder stand, halasana. Headstand is a sort of an energizing pose, and then the halasana, shoulder stand to halasana, it's like a calming down. Other schools finish with a headstand, so it depends what you want to use it for. Yoga's there to be used. If I wanted a lot of energy for the rest of the day, then perhaps it's quite nice to finish with a headstand and then a bit of Kapalabhati breathing afterwards. But it really, I can't see that it's important, but it depends how you want to use the yoga. Right, shoulder stand. So laying flat on the floor. The idea of me including the shoulder stand is I wanted to see if it's made any difference to my lower regions around the abdominal area. It was feeling very heavy trying to get into shoulder stand last week, so I needed to do something about it. So let's go. So hands down by your sides. Press down with your hands and forearms, lift your chest and get those shoulder blades down the back onto the floor. So hands are going to stay put there, so a little bit of abdominal work for you. You're going to bend your knees, lift your legs straight up in the air. Now, press down with your hands and see if you can lift your bottom off the floor and point your legs up towards point your feet up towards the ceiling. 1. Does it come off the floor? Good. 2. 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it there. Now take your legs right over your head. See if you can get those toes towards the floor. Interlace your hands behind your back. And then wriggle your shoulders. You're right up on top of those shoulders. Stretch your feet away. Halasana. Support your back with your hands, bring your chest towards your chin, and then you can take your legs up in the air. Yes, I'm pleased with the abdomen. It's not as bad as it was last week. Breathe. Keep the right leg where it is. Take the left toes to the floor or towards the floor. Bring that leg back and lower the right leg. And bring that leg back. And then you're going to cross your ankles, widen your knees, and bring your knees down towards your chest. Take your hands onto your knees and see if you can straighten your arms up. And then straightening out your legs so the legs are balanced and knees are in your hands still. And then you're going to slide your hands down your legs so the feet are going to come over your head. So you can touch your toes. your hands and arms over by your side, back to the floor. And then you're going to start to unwind nice and slowly. So one vertebrae at a time, see if you can keep your head fixed to the floor. So use your hands, push into the floor with your hands. Come down one vertebrae at a time. So you're flat on the floor. And then let's use those abdominal muscles that we used the other day. So you're going to exhale as you start to bring your legs down. Stretch away with your heels, work the legs. Bring them down halfway and breathe. And bring them down halfway again. And then all the way to the floor. Inhale, raise the arms over your head. Really work those legs, stretch them into the floor. Stretch away with your heels, and on an inhale, sit up, touch your toes, bring your head down towards your knees. Inhale, sitting up, and then back to cross-legged once more. Get the buttock flesh out of the way. Rest your hands on your thighs. Balancing head, shoulders, hips. So closing your eyes. Reflecting how you feel. Face is passive, tongue soft inside your mouth. Your hands together in front of your chest. Namaste. So that's the end of this week, day 5. So it was really my yoga this week. Next week, it's back to doing your yoga and slightly longer sessions.